from the sports desk, a festive welcome is planned, of course, as Team South Africa's Paralympians arrive home today. The team garnered 7 medals, including 4 gold, 1 silver and 2 bronze. Now, they also managed to set 3 new world records. Now, our reporter, Hloni Mthimkhulu, is at the airport as she was welcoming the team back. Of course, the Sports Minister, Nathi Mthethwa, was also there. Very good afternoon to you, Hloni. So, what was the main takeaway from the team's arrival?
Good afternoon, Morena. So I guess the main takeaway was that all the athletes that came back today, they said that they were happy to be home. That's the first thing. But also just talking about these Paralympic Games, especially the fact that they happened under COVID conditions, you know, that it was a 5-year cycle instead of a 4-year cycle. So just the difficulties around that, you know, and just the risks around COVID and preparing in those conditions. We know, of course, that we were under hard lockdown for a while last year. And so a lot of athletes, well, all athletes actually couldn't get training until very late in the year last year. So it was a very difficult, different kind of Paralympic Games. And I have with me Andre Neves, who had COVID just before the Paralympic Games, actually. And you were telling us about that, Andre. Just first of all, before you tell us about the COVID, let's talk about you winning gold and coming back with gold after 2 previous Paralympic Games in London and in Rio.
This one is definitely special. I think it's special because it is my 3rd Paralympic Games. It felt like my first. But I think why it was special for me is because I've grown so much as a person in my faith, and also on the field as an athlete, competing. So for me, it was definitely an honor just to represent my country again, and to race the race, and to know that my plan was to run with God every single step, to execute, and to trust Him, to fully trust Him. So my brain didn't think of anything else when I went out there on the track, and to surrender totally everything with Him. And the joy I had and the tears I had was the tremendous gratitude I have towards what He's done in my life. And it's not just at this Paralympic Games. Since I've grown up and since I gave my heart to Him and since I started running, He's made me meet people. He's made me run incredible races. He made me who I am, with all of that. And I'm incredibly grateful for connecting with people and for listening to their stories, and to know that it's not about a medal or performance that makes you who you are. And that was something that I feel that this Games was something spectacular for me, is that I truly shared emotions with so many people, and listened and prayed with them for where they are, and still celebrate them and hold them with their tears, and with my happy tears as well, just knowing what someone went through. And that for me I'm eternally grateful for that. So this medal is a reminder what God has done in my life, and also a platform that He's given me to share what He's done on the track and off the track, in being able to run my 3rd Paralympic Games and come back with a gold medal. Well,
that gold medal looks good. Just tell us about the difficulties in preparing. We know obviously you had that 5-year cycle, and you also had COVID just before, right? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I know it sounds very weird, but every word COVID comes, it feels like it touches my emotions, because it makes me remember when I had it, how I felt. And I do share that a lot, that when I had it, there was 3 days where I struggled to breathe and I struggled to move around without being tired, and I'm a professional athlete, so it's scary. But in that time, I sat in it and I gave it to God, and it was really special. My coach and I had a chat every single day, and we chatted about how God journeys with me in this. It was really special to write down a few things that I'm grateful for. And in Tokyo, I had it on my wall, and that was breathing, and that was a heart, and also to remind that I'm running with Him. And all that was because I faced COVID. So it was definitely difficult for me. And flying to Tokyo with a mask on and testing there was the most stressful thing that I've ever had in my life. That test, if it's positive, your Games can end. So everybody was I felt very anxious, and it was cool how that turned around in the village, that wasn't not a problem anymore. So it was definitely difficult training in COVID times, having it. And I know a lot of people have lost someone despite COVID, and I think that's touchy if you have had it. And you know that someone close might have died because of it, or they lost someone with it, or they're still going through it. So I really want to sympathize with them, and I really pray that healing happens and that COVID will be done, and we will have a normal life where we can celebrate, we get a ride together without mask, without sanitizer, but still that Japan made the Games possible, and they did everything that they could so that every country around the world can still go and compete. And that for me is something that, united by emotions, it's special, that despite having those challenges with COVID and not training, that we be able to be there was truly incredible.
Well done, and congratulations. I know this was your third Paralympic Games, and you are retiring, you said, from the Paralympic Games, and hopefully we'll see you again at some point racing. But so that was Andrene Veers, just at her third Olympics, finally getting that gold after bronze in London and silver at the Rio Paralympic Games. Thanks to you, Morena.
Shoni, thank you very much. Of course, thank you. Thank Andrene Veers. Thank you to Team South Africa for an incredible representation of this country. 7 medals, including 4 gold, Andrene being one of the gold medalists. And that's